What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very important update involving Trump's tariffs. We have some huge news that just came out that caused the market to bounce a bit. I'm going to break down some news in just a couple of minutes and how this is affecting the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $2,000 and you're guaranteed 30. Anyways, so as far as the market is going, we saw Tesla dump all the way down to about 374. Then Tesla bounced 13 points back up towards this 387 area. So if you look at like the 5-minute time frame, you guys can see what I'm talking about. We got this big dump on Tesla, only to see a V-shaped move right back up. We saw Nvidia do something similar. Nvidia dumped all the way down to about 113. Then we saw a move right back up to about 117. So it's trying to rebound. If you look at SPY, the same thing. This thing dumped all the way down to 590, and then we got a nice 8-point bounce in just a couple of minutes. So why did the market get this huge bounce? Why did the QQQ dump all the way down to about 511 and then bounce all the way back up to about 519? Well, we had some huge updates that came out. The Mexican tariffs have been delayed. Donald Trump has announced that, and so has Mexico's president, that the tariffs have been delayed for a month. I mentioned to you all in the morning that Trump was going to be meeting up with many officials from Mexico and Canada, and we're looking for some big updates to cause some volatility. I also mentioned to you all that if SPY had broken past 595, we're looking for that gap fill. As you could see, we broke 595 and we're going for this gap fill up here. And if we lose it, we will turn back down. So watch those levels just to be safe. But why are the tariffs delayed? What on earth is going on? So one of the things I mentioned in my video from the last couple of days, I've been saying that we have pros and cons of Trump's tariffs. So there's obviously some short-term negative effects of them, but one of the things that could be good about them is that they could be used for negotiation tactics, right? So this news came out that Donald Trump was calling these officials. They were going to negotiate, and they came to an agreement that they're going to be pausing the tariffs for about 1 month. We also had the German chancellor come out and they're essentially urging that there needs to be cooperation between the EU members because there could be more potential tariffs from the US. But what did Trump negotiate with Mexico? What's actually very important? Well, looking at the news, Mexico's president also came out and they said that the tariffs have been delayed for 1 month. And then they also mentioned that Mexico is going to be deploying 10,000 National Guards essentially at the border to help solve some problems, to help with a lot of issues. I have it highlighted right over here. So for those out there who, didn't really see this coming, just know that there's going to be a lot of volatility amidst these times with all these pieces of news coming out. So a good source I would recommend looking at is known as Unusual Wells. You guys can subscribe to them on Twitter if you want. They provide lots of free updates. I'd recommend them. Their notifications are very useful as well when it comes to like being on top of the news. So this is very, very big. So Mr. Trump was threatening these high tariffs. Mexico and Trump basically negotiated, and now Mexico have agreed that they're going to be increasing border security, and as a result, Trump will delay the tariffs. There's also the possibility that the rate could change depending on different factors, to what extent Mexico's willing to negotiate, what more they're willing to do to benefit whatever Trump wants them to do as well. So that's the very, very big piece of news, and that's why the market saw this huge pump. However, even though we pumped like that, I'm going to be very careful right here, especially as we have this resistance. So please keep that in mind. So just know we had some manufacturing numbers. Everything was pretty much close to expectations. The market did dip upon this coming out, but then after the Trump update, we did see a small bounce. So in this case, what's happening to the charts now? Let me give you guys a real-time update. SPY is testing its 200 EMA right now on the 5 minutes time frame. If we break and hold above this, I could see us get close to 600. It's always a possibility. If we break past 598, we're looking for 600. If we can't hold above 598 or even 600, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 595 or below. There could be a small pullback, and we could actually return to this like channel right here to the downside. So please keep that in mind in case we do get rejection. There is a risk of that if we can't hold above 598 to 600. On the QQQ, I want to see it hold 518. As long as we're above that, we're looking for 520 as our target. If we can't hold above 518, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 515 and all the way back down to about this channel right here around the 512 area. So keep that in mind. Can we get back above 520 to be bullish? And if we can't hold above 518 at the very least, we will turn back down. So please keep that in mind. For the IWM Russell 2000, we pumped very, very nicely. We're starting to turn here. We want to see it hold essentially above our key supports. If it gets back above 225, we're looking for a pump. If not, it could be dipping lower. Anyways, about Tesla, I think I kind of skipped over Tesla. Sorry about that, guys. Tesla dumped quite a bit, only to rebound. We want to see if Tesla could hold above a key level, but here's the main thing right now. On the 4-hour time frame, we have Tesla testing 386 as the main support. If we hold this, this could attempt a rebound for essentially 392. If we break the 392 area, I'm looking for an attempt to get right up here towards like 397. Then we could fill the gap after that. If we don't get back above 392, we're looking at 386 as the main support. The question is, will Tesla close above or below this? If we close below this, there's going to be a risk of us continuing to return into the 370s. So please be very careful. Watch 386 is a big level where Tesla's going to see a lot of consolidation. It's going to be trading a lot like sideways around this range. So make sure you watch that carefully just to be safe. That's going to be very, very key for how we end up continuing to move. And if the market continues to slow down, if SPY, for example, does not break like 598 and we get a market-wide slowdown again, that could also drag Tesla lower back closer to like the towards the 370s. So please be careful. I'm just here to give you guys the warning. For Nvidia, we pumped nicely, but here's the problem. You want to see it hold above 117 to push to fill the gap towards 119. To be bullish, I want to see it get back above at least 120. We're not even there yet. So although it's trying to rebound, we're not in the green zone yet. We're not in the good zone. We're still in a risky place between 117 and 115. And there's still a risk of downside if we can't get back above 117. We still could be dipping back down to like 115 or below. For Bitcoin, we dumped quite a bit all the way down to about 92,000 only to rebound. We have resistance at 99,300 and then 101,000 above that. To be bullish, I want to see it break 101,000. Then we could be looking for a rebound. If we can't do that, we're at risk of rejecting off one of these EMAs, which could take us back down to 95,000 or below. So please keep that in mind, guys. There is still that risk of the market turning back down despite that temporary bounce. Aapl pumped only to dump again. So we're looking for this support at 226, previous resistance becoming support. If that fails us, we're looking for a move back down to about 222-ish, so just be very, very careful. For others out there, we have Palantir trying to push to fill this gap to about 82. We'll see if we could hold above that or not. Might push a little bit more, but I still think it's going to be in a range for the time being between 82 and 84 if we do push to fill that gap. Not really doing a whole lot. We had Coinbase push to fill the gap towards 290 and reject. To be bullish, we want to break 290. If we can't break past that, we're looking for 277 as our support. So it could be turning back down. For Amazon, we have this resistance to watch for around this 238 area, and we have support currently at 235 and also around that 232 zone. So I think that we're going to be range bound on Amazon until we get earnings in just a couple of days. It's doing fine, though. It's not that far from all-time highs, so it's just going to be range bound between the 238 to 233 area. It might dip a little bit more from here, but it's just going to consolidate. Meta is very resilient, looking for 700. It's a tough resistance. Our support is at 678. So I think we're just going to be range bound as well on this until we get like Amazon's earnings. So just be careful with it. As long as we don't lose 676, we're going to likely just be range bound. Microsoft pushed back up to about that 413 area. We'll see if we hold above this or not. If we can't, we could turn back down. It's just kind of flat here. Not really expecting too much. It's only down about 0.4%. It could be coming back down to the lower 400s, though there's no signs truly bouncing yet. And then Google tried to rebound for about 204. We got to hold above that. If not, we could turn back down to 202. So please keep that in mind. Anyways, that is it for my video, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. Looking back at SPY, if you go to like the 5 minutes time frame, we pumped, sure, but we're still fighting to see if we could break past 598. And if we can't do that, this might turn right back down. So just be careful. And as far as Tesla goes, we're just dancing around this like 386 zone. We've been kind of shuffling here for the last couple of for the past almost hour, I would say, ever since like the news came out. So we're still stuck. We're gonna likely just remain range bound for now. So give this some time to develop. With that being said, guys, I thank you all so much for listening. With all the things that are going on with Trump, he is continuing to negotiate. And we'll see what happens. He's going to be speaking to some Canadian officials very soon. So we'll see if this leads to more upside or downside for the markets. So far, the Mexican news has been more bullish. That's a good piece of news so far. But the market is not in a situation where it's just going to make a full recovery and pushed a little bit, and then we'll have to see if we reject or not off these key levels. So watch Tesla shuffle around this like 386 zone, and we'll see how well we end up holding. And I'll give you guys more updates if we hear more from Trump and the tariff news. With that being said, I thank you for listening. Have a good one, guys, and peace out.